If it's Friday night, say yeah, for it is Strictly Sports. Hello, friends. Anthony Fleur here with you for another edition of Strictly Sports. So glad to have you with us as always. Joined by Girl MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Boyd. We got a great show for you here this evening. So without any further ado, let's dive right on into our docket for this week. And we're going to talk some NFL news. And we have Jason Pierre-Paul. He was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's your story. Big Blue shipped Jason Pierre-Paul and the 2018 fourth-round pick, number 102 overall, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2018 third and fourth-round picks, number 69 and number 108. And there you go. So that's the backstory there. So my immediate thoughts on this, well, for the Buccaneers, adding Jason Pierre-Paul continues an offseason of addressing their pass rush. And the Bucs also recently adding end Vinny Curry and tackle Bo Allen to bolster their defensive line. And Pierre-Paul adds more oomph to a Tampa squad that compiled the league low 22 sacks in 2017. Importing JPP, Curry, and Allen to go along with Gerald McCoy and Noah Spence gives the Bucs depth and playmaking along the defensive line. Tampa clearly targeted upgrading their defensive weakness this offseason. The Bucs reportedly attempted to acquire Robert Quinn from the LA Rams earlier this offseason. After missing out, the team turned their attention to JPP, who compiled 8.5 sacks and 68 tackles in 2017. He's going to be playing in a division that boasts Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton. The Bucs desperately needed playmakers to get after the quarterback. This trade helps accomplish that goal in a big way. So that's really all I can say on that. So I want to bring in Mr. NFL on this one, Girl MF Michael Fletcher and MF. I love the move for Tampa Bay. This really helps their defense. I mean, no team had fewer sacks than Tampa Bay. That's definitely going to this will definitely help bolster that sack total and then some this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. JPP is a dominant force. You know, he won a Super Bowl with the New York Football Giants back in Super Bowl 46, responsible for winning the championship for them. And yeah, he's a great player. He's an explosive player. He's a good edge pass rusher that's gonna definitely muck it up. He's gonna really try to put a lot of strain on the quarterback. You're double team this guy, and that's mainly the focus that you want to do. So for me, yeah, this is a great move. This was a great pickup if you're a member of the team, because you really know at this point in this situation that you really need pass rushing, you need good defense. And normally a lot of times they say defenses win championship unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles, where it was really your offense that won the Super Bowl, even though one big defensive play did make the difference in that game. So, you know, it remains to be seen. But look, for Tampa, that's a step in the right direction. You got a really explosive player now to anchor your defense, and you got a nice young stud that you got now. Now can he stay on the field healthy? That's one thing that kind of has been a little bit of a situation in the last few years for JPP. But as long as he stays healthy, he could be another, explosive player like how Dwight Freeney was a few years ago. And Freeney's still at it. James Harrison, we already know he still can go, especially with New England. So definitely great sign up, great pickup for Tampa, and it's just now, can he stay healthy? Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. It's all yours, my friend.
Yeah, I like this pickup by the Buccaneers. I mean, it definitely helps improve them defensively. I mean, going into that 2011 season, we even know who Jason Pierre-Paul was at the time. And boy, he really made a name for himself defensively, and became one of the top pass rushers in the National Football League, and was one of the reasons why the Giants won Super Bowl 46. And he was definitely one of the key players defensively for the Giants. And lately he's been going through some health problems that's pretty much kept him off. But if he can stay healthy, he can definitely get back to being that pass rusher that he was, and really could be a huge boost for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I really like this. Whether this will help them get to the postseason, that remains to be seen. So really, got nothing more to say. So let's just move on to our next topic, Florio.
And Ndamukong Suh signs with the Los Angeles Rams, 1 year, $14 million deal. He made his decision after visiting with the New Orleans Saints and the Tennessee Titans before visiting LA. He initially planned to visit the Raiders before deciding to skip the scheduled meetup. And despite not hosting Suh on a visit, the New York Jets even emerged as a serious contender for his services late in the week, but rescinded their offer on Sunday. Of course, he was with the Miami Dolphins recently. Last season, during his time in Miami, he tallied 15.5 sacks and 181 combined tackles while in Miami, despite eating up double teams constantly. Since 2010, he ranked second among defensive tackles in sacks with 51.5, first in quarterback hits with 147, second in total pressures with 381.5, and first in tackles for a loss with 103. So for at least one season, he's going to be pairing with Aaron Donald, the Defensive Player of the Year. And MF, look at the Rams' defense already. You already have Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. They recently got Aqib Talib from Denver, and now you're adding in Ndamukong Suh.
They are going for it. Read my lips for it. The Los Angeles Rams has something special going down there. And boys, jump on the bandwagon if you can, because this team could be very interesting. I think they could win the division again. I think they could be a major threat to well, I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl. I can't go that far, but they are definitely putting themselves in a position where I see them being in about 5 years. 3 to 5 year, the 3 to 5 year window is there. If they could keep building on this team that they're building right now, I'm telling you guys, this could be the next Philadelphia Eagles. This could be that team that could sneak under the radar. Nobody would be talking about them. And the next thing we know, we could see them playing for a Lombardi trophy. They're that good. Aaron Donald, like you said, Donald, the Defensive Player of the Year, with a very explosive, unbelievable player in Ndamukong Suh. And let me tell you, Ndamukong Suh was not really successful in Miami. I think we can honestly say they paid a lot of money for him, but it never really transpired. And a lot of people were not sad to see him go, even though some people wanted him to stay. But, at the end of the day, some people didn't really shed that many tears to see him go and leave and be cut. So it definitely is a little bit of a good thing. And I'm just more glad that he actually went to an NFC squad and not an AFC squad, because if he would have gone to the AFC, that might have been a little more scarier. But, to go to the NFC, to end up playing with to play with the Rams, who definitely, like I said, is definitely going for it. This is an amazing pickup for them, and they have had an incredible offseason, to say the very least. Now you got Jared Goff, who's already got a year under his belt. I'm very excited to see what he does. You got Todd Gurley, one of the most explosive running backs in the NFL. The receiving core looks pretty good. You got a decent tight end, but now you got 3 studs when it comes to the defensive lineup. I'm telling you right now, guys, look out for the Rams. You thought last season was a fluke. I'm telling you right now, next season, They have put themselves in great position to do this all over again. Nothing more to say. I love the move. I love it. I cannot wait to see the Rams. They are going to be that team that could really sneak in and really surprise a few next season. So, nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. It's all yours, man.
Yeah, if you thought this Rams defense was already good after what we saw last season, they just got better. I mean, first with Aqib Talib and now getting the Ndamukong Suh. And like you said, Fletch, this team is definitely going for it this upcoming season. Do I see them winning the Super Bowl? Probably not, but you never know. You never know. I mean, they could give the Philadelphia Eagles a run for their money. And I mean, especially with Jared Goff, a full year under his belt, he could only get better. Todd Gurley, offense. I mean, and then of course defensively with the reigning defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. Now you add Talib and Ndamukong Suh. This really makes them a legitimate contender for them to be in the Super Bowl. But like I said, will they make it? Probably not, but you never know. I mean, Ndamukong Suh, I mean, it just never really worked out for him in Miami. I mean, Miami gave him all that money, but he just never really lived up to that hype when they got him. So maybe, like you said, him going to the NFC, I think could definitely work out for him. Well, of course, he was in the NFC the last time with the Detroit Lions, and we all know of his attitude in Detroit, especially in that game against Green Bay where he stomped on a player and ended up getting suspended and ejected from the game. I mean, some people call him a dirty player, and I still consider him as a dirty player, but when he can keep control of himself, he's definitely one of the top defensive tackles in the NFL. So I love this signing by the Rams, and like I said, they could definitely be a Super Bowl contender next season. Whether that happens or not, that remains to be seen. So, Florio, it's yours.
Ndamukong Suh is not the only massive name Les Snead and company have acquired this offseason. LA has reshaped its secondary before free agency, making separate trades to bring AFC West standouts Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib to the organization, tagging LaMarcus Joyner, re-signing Nickel Roby-Coleman, and signing Packer veteran Sam Shields. In acquiring a trio of potential Hall of Famers this offseason, the Rams have constructed their own 21st century version of the fearsome foursome. 2 bulldozers on the line and 2 ball hawks roaming the secondary, all captained by one of the best defensive coordinators in NFL history, Wade Phillips. But as quickly as this Rams defensive dynasty has been put together, it will be equally fleeting. Los Angeles has Donald, Suh, and Joyner under contract for only 1 year. In other words, just 1 full year into the Sean McVay era, and with Jared Goff still on his rookie contract, the Rams are going all in now. Bottom line, it's Super Bowl or bust in 2018. Period. End of statement, end of quotation. Let's move on to the proposed Alliance American Football League. Now, we all know Charlie Ebersol. You may know Charlie Ebersol, the son of legendary executive Dick Ebersol, a longtime sports media exec. You remember, he made a documentary about why the XFL failed. And now he is set to launch an 8-team pro football league in 2019 with a CBS Sports broadcast deal and a roster of ex-NFL players in executive and advisory roles 1 year before Vince McMahon's planned reboot of the XFL. The Alliance of American Football is backed by investors including Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, Slow Ventures, Peter Chernan's Chernin Group, Adrian Fenty, and Charles King's M Ventures, Keith Raboy, and former NFL All-Pro Jared Allen. The AAF is not disclosing how much funding it has raised, but they are confident that they have the right team and long-term financial resources in place to ensure fans will experience high-quality professional football for many seasons to come. Charlie Ebersol is going to serve on the league's board, and he previously teamed with Vince McMahon for the XFL's 1-year run on NBC. Dick Ebersol led NBC Sports for more than 2 decades and created Sunday Night Football in partnership with the NFL, along with establishing the Peacock's Olympics coverage. So it'll be another bid to hook gridiron fans during the NFL offseason, like the Arena Football League and the XFL. And they're going to focus on player safety and profit participation, as well as fan participation through free live streaming games and integrated fantasy sports elements. Ebersol co-founded the league with former NFL general manager Bill Polian, who over a 24-year span built championship teams, including the Buffalo Bills, Indianapolis Colts, and Carolina Panthers. Under its deal with the AAF, CBS will air league matchups beginning with the February 9th, 2019 season opener and culminating with the championship game the weekend of April 26th through 28th, with one regular season game airing each week exclusively on the CBS Sports Network. Viewers will be able to stream AAF matchups live via a free app, while also accessing integrated fantasy options with real prizes for themselves and the players they root for. The AAF is a single entity league, meaning it will have full ownership of the teams as opposed to operating under a franchise model. The AAF has not announced the 8 markets where its teams will be located, with plans to unveil those along with coaches and other personnel over the next 12 weeks on its website at AAF.com. The league's 8 teams will have 50-player rosters, which AAF said will be built primarily through a regionally based allocation in the fall. It plans to recruit players in markets near where they played in the NFL or college. It will have a 10-week regular season and a 4-team playoff. And to speed up gameplay, the league will institute a play clock shorter than the NFL's 40-second break, have fewer ad breaks, and require 2-point conversion tries after every touchdown. In other words, no PATs. You got to go for 2 after every touchdown. They will air 2 primetime games on its broadcast network next year, plus the full slate of regular season games on CBS Sports Network. Yeah, CBS will have 2 primetime games, plus the full slate of the games on CBS SN. As it launches next February, they are excited to become the official TV partner, adding more football to our robust programming lineup. Sean McManus, the president of CBS Sports chairman. And with Charlie Ebersol and Bill Polian at the helm, they are confident that the product they deliver will be entertaining, exciting, engaging, and something the fans will enjoy. And to minimize the risk of concussions and other injuries, they will diverge from the standard NFL playbook on several features. No kickoffs. The league will eliminate kickoffs with offensive possessions starting on the 25-yard line. And there will also be no onside kicks either, with the trailing team receiving the ball on their own 35, facing 4th down and 10. And it will curtail the 3-point stance. League executives say independent organizations will enforce strict head safety protocols. They will also create bonus structures for players based on wins, statistical milestones, and fan engagement. And it also promises players scholarships for post-secondary education for every year played in AAF, along with post-football career planning and counseling. So that's pretty much the schematics for all of that. So Michael Bullock, I want to start this with you here. One simple question. Based on what you just heard, will this Alliance of American Football League succeed? Yes or no?
You know, I think it could. I mean, who knows? I mean, mean, after everything you just mentioned, I think it could succeed. Now, whether that actually does succeed or not, that remains to be seen until they actually do when they do step on the field. But I can tell you this right now, guys. I really hope they don't pull. I mean, they. I hope they don't fail like the XFL did in its first year. So because if it turns bad, I wouldn't be surprised if they can it after one season. So I'm hoping for it to succeed, but I think it will. But we're just gonna have to wait and find out. So there's really nothing more for me to say on it. So Florio, I give it to you. I mean, what do you think?
I think it can, and I think it will. I mean, I love the rules. I like the without question. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you have an 18 league. I mean, I like what they're doing with no PATs. I mean, that's interesting, and no kickoffs. I mean, I like that even more. There will be no onside kicks, and the interesting rule: the team that scored a touchdown gets the ball on its 35 in a 4th and 10 situation. And I tell you what, I mean, I like what I see here. I mean, Charlie Ebersol from the Ebersol family. I mean, we all know what his father accomplished um, in the world of football and, of course, in the world of professional wrestling, you know, with the whole Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC. Of course, his partnership with Vince McMahon, obviously. And of course, Bill Polian, we all know what his track record is. I mean, with the great work that he did in Buffalo, Indy, and Carolina. I mean, I think he's going to do a great job with this league. And Troy Polamalu is going to serve as the head of player relations. And that ought to be interesting. And I'll tell you what, I mean, you know, I mean, we got a lot of partnerships here. I mean, CBS airing a couple of primetime games. CBS SN is going to be obviously the primary network. The debut date is scheduled to get underway February 9th of 2019, which will be just after Super Bowl 53 wraps up in Atlanta. So, I mean, the rules are very interesting, and I mean, this is a league I'm definitely gonna give it a try, no doubt about it. I mean, I definitely want to look into it. I definitely want to see what it has to offer, and you know, for all of us who, you know, have the post football blues, if you will, you know, feeling, you know, meh after football season's over. Like, great, we got to wait 7 long months, you know, for the NFL and for college to get underway. So, not the case. We'll only have to wait a week, and then we'll have another football league to look forward to. So, 8 markets. We'll see which 8 they want to go to. But for right now, I'm definitely in. I can't say that I'm all in. I'm not going to say I'm all in until I see, you know, one outing with this product, and if I like what I see, you know, when this whole thing goes down, then maybe I'll be all in. And can it succeed? I think it can, and I think maybe it will. So I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? So MF, once the NFL season is over, we actually have more football to look forward to. So no more post-football blues, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully no more post-football blues. It's really going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think that's going to be the key word, how it plays out. Now, the rules seems very interesting. It seems like, you know, it looks promising. I like what I see. But again, we got to understand what's going on. How is this going to play out? What are we going to be looking for? What key players are going to be showcased in this league too, because that's also another thing. What former guys are going to be it? What standout players are there going to be in this league as well? And that's always the key. And then, you know, the ticket prices, the economics of it, how's that going to play out? You know, you got to be very interesting. You got to be very shrewd with the decisions that you make week in and week out, and with the ownerships and everything else. It looks great on paper, but what is the product going to look like? And Anthony, you said it best. What is it going to look like when we go to those type of games, to those type of situations? We go from there. I don't know what we're going to expect. I don't know what the future is going to be, but it looks promising. And when you got guys like Bill Polian and the CBS crew getting the company, you know, working on this as well, that's a major company to work with. And with everything that's going on, the layout with a 10-week season, a 14 playoff, it kind of has a little bit of a college football feel if you think about it. But at the end of the day, this is going to watch because we are intrigued, and that's what it is. We're intrigued about it. We hope that it works, but again, hoping and expecting and the expectations are going to be three different things that we got to talk about. Are we going to get some good football? Hopefully we do. But that's the thing. What is the level of play going to look like? What are we going to get the first games out? Are they going to be good? Are they going to be top-notch quality football? Or how, you know, what is it going to look like? And sometimes certain games or certain battles, you got to be very careful with the matchups as well, because you want to get good matchups, because that's going to be your first look. How are you going to impress the league in that type of aspect? So I don't know. We've got to wait and see. It looks, like I said, it looks good on paper, but at the end of the day, will it be will it work? Will it not work? We'll wait and see. But nothing more to say, Anthony. It's all yours.
Unfortunately, we have to move on to a serious situation here. A story that I reported 11 days ago. I reported it on my Facebook, and I'm glad Derek Ferreira is having us address this, because this is something that really needs to be addressed. Cleveland Cavaliers head coach Tyronn Lue taking a leave of absence from his team to deal with health issues. He was stepping away from coaching to focus on his health. And Tyronn Lue told ESPN's Rachel Nichols via text message that his goal was to return in about a week. Now, keep in mind, this was 11 days ago I posted this, but he had us talk about it. It should have really been on last week's docket, but it wasn't. But he left a game against the Chicago Bulls, a win against the Chicago Bulls, with an illness, marking the third time this season that his health has kept him from coaching an entire game. And after many conversations with the team doctors and general manager Koby Altman, and much thought given to what is best for the team and his health, he needed to step back from coaching for the time being and focus on trying to establish a stronger and healthier foundation from which to coach for the rest of the season. He's had chest pains and other troubling symptoms, compounded by a loss of sleep throughout the year. And despite a battery of tests, there have been no conclusions as to what the exact issue is. And Dave McMenamin of ESPN was told by team sources that he had also been coughing up blood. Larry Drew served as interim head coach, and Tyronn Lue texted his assistant around 1:30 in the morning and told him, "It's your show." And Drew said, "Hey, he wants me to go out there and just kind of do what I do. We'll tweak some things, we'll add some things, but for the most part, we'll do what we've been doing." And I don't want to confuse the guys. Lue pushed to return to Saturday's game. League sources told Adrian Wojnarowski, only to be persuaded by staff to stay in the locker room and let Drew finish coaching the game. The team shut him down. And one source familiar with what happened told McMenamin the only way it was going to happen was if they did it. The source said he never wanted to be perceived as letting his team down, and they took the decision out of his hands. Lue hoping to reset his health with a new personal chef, regular exercise, rest, and medication. So I'll tell you what. I feel for him. I really feel for him. I mean, the NBA is fun. It's exciting. Everybody loves their jobs. But in the long run, we all want to be healthy. We want everyone to be healthy. I mean, the players and the coaches. So we here at Strictly Sports, we're thinking about Tyronn Lue. We're praying for Tyronn Lue and hoping that he can recover quickly and find some answers and get back on the sidelines, because he's a great guy and a great coach. And he's a great representative for the Cleveland Cavaliers and for the league. And if you're asking me what I think is the problem here, sleep deprivation. That's what it is. It's sleep deprivation. There's a lot of recovery that goes on when you're resting, and you need that. And you also need to eat well. You also need to stay hydrated. But my friends, things happen. And that's what we all know. That's what we've all learned here. Stuff happens, guys. Unexpected stuff. And you've got to just deal with it and do the best you can. Now, he considered stepping away earlier this season due to his health issues, but he resisted during the team's early season free fall because he did not want to give the appearance that he was leaving the team during a losing streak. And he also resisted stepping away again after the trade deadline roster overhaul because he wanted to help integrate the new players into Cleveland's lineup. Now, you guys understand what coaches have to go through. It's hard. It's tough. It's a stressful job. And it's hard because all the coaches work extremely long hours. There's always a game to watch, always another film to watch. And you want to be as best prepared as you can. And sometimes you fail to realize what your health is doing with a lack of sleep and stuff like that. So you wanted my thoughts on it? I just gave you my thoughts right then and there. So Coach Lue, we're thinking about you. We're praying for you. Speedy recovery, brother. Get well soon. Take care of yourself. Do what you got to do. Just do you, brother. Just do you. Agree with that, MF?
Well said. Well said, Anthony Florio. And, I don't know if it's sleep deprivation. I think that's a little bit of a far-fetched thing to really think about. But, look, being an NBA head coach is really stressful. I mean, you got to think about the game plans. You got to think about a lot of things, ins and outs. It's a demanding job, and it will keep you up at night. And I get where you're coming from with that too, Florio, about, it's a demanding job. It is really one of the hardest jobs. And we can Monday night quarterback or Monday morning quarterback about decisions that are made and everything else. But a lot of the times we don't give coaches a lot of credit when we should. It is really a demanding job, and it's really tough. And this is nothing new. From the Golden State Warriors, because it's kind of with everything that's going on and being in Cleveland where the expectation is because of the fact that you got literally the greatest player in NBA right now with LeBron James, that yes, I understand it. People wants to see you guys succeed. People want to see you win. And whenever something bad or something goes wrong, and it's on your head, it really comes down on you. So I understand why Tyronn Lue had to step away, and quite frankly, I don't blame him for stepping away from the situation because he deserves so much better than he gets. At least in my eyes, I believe he deserves to get so much better than he gets. And at the end of the day, I get where you're coming from, Anthony, and you really bring some valid points here. And there's really nothing more to say. We're thinking about you, Ty Lue. We wish you nothing but the best. We wish you, like Anthony said, a speedy recovery, man. And yeah, this has been a rough season. But I just hope he comes back and is ready to go. And especially during that stretch run, they are going to need him in a stretch run. All right, Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wish Ty Lue nothing but the best. I mean, he's been a really good coach and And yes, coaching can definitely take a little bit of a toll on you. I mean, for such a long season, especially an 82 game season. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's been a rough season for Ty Lue and the Cavaliers. And they're basically fighting to basically, of course, get back to another NBA Finals. Whether that happens or not, that remains to be seen. But I hope he gets better quickly and gets back to doing what he does, and that's coaching. So there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's just move right along.
And next up, you thought we had hard times for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, we got hard times for Michael Bullock and the Boston Celtics. Kyrie Irving is expected to miss the rest of the NBA regular season after undergoing surgery on Saturday to remove a tension wire in his left knee. He has been dealing with knee issues for the past few weeks, but after a second opinion, he decided to opt for the surgery. Based on the timeline, there are concerns if Irving will be able to return before the start of the upcoming NBA playoffs. With numerous injuries to the roster, Boston's top priority is getting relatively healthy, as they are unlikely to catch the Toronto Raptors for that number one seed, and they have a comfortable lead on the Cleveland Cavaliers with just a few games, less than single-digit games remaining in the regular season. In his first season with the Celtics, Irving has established himself as the team's first option, averaging 24.4 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 5.1 assists in 60 games. As the five-time All-Star has dealt with knee issues in the past, it will be interesting to see if he returns in time and what happens at the end of the season. MF, you remember during our special Saturday night Strictly Sports last week, we got into this during our NBA Power Rankings. We talked about the Boston Celtics, and you broke it. You said Kyrie Irving was done for the rest of the regular season, and you said this was going to be a big problem for Boston, especially going into the postseason. And let's be realistic, MF. Any aspirations for an NBA championship for this team? For championship, what is it, number 18?
It would be 18. Yeah, if they win the title, it would be number 18 for them. Look, a lot of people thought it was going to be unrealistic after the horrific injury that Gordon Hayward suffered on opening night of the NBA season. I mean, a lot of people did not think that they were going to make it that far, but yet here they are. And now, with everything that's on the line, with everything going on, it's scary. It's scary. It's tough. It's interesting. And like I said, you kind of want to keep him healthy now because you want him for that stretch run. You don't have him now for the stretch run. He's done for at least the regular season. And now, how far is he going to be in the postseason? That's another thing now you got to start thinking is, how long is he going to be out for? And any length of time is going to be bad. Maybe you can get away with it in the first round, all right. But second round, third round, once you get into the second round of the playoffs or the Eastern Conference Finals, that is definitely not a situation you want to be in. Especially if you're Boston. I don't think you get out if it goes that far. I think they're a second round team, and goodbye Boston. I don't think they make it, because especially the way that it set it up. You got to think about it this way. First round, all right, fine. You're the number 2 seed, so you should have you'll probably get maybe an Indiana or something like that. You could probably get by in the first round, but that second round, you're most likely playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't see you guys getting by them. Now with the team you got right now, sorry, I'm going to be real honest with you. So, I don't know. It's bad. It's a horrible situation for the Celtics. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough injury. I mean, for this to go down, but the thing is, I mean, they're already positioned to go to the playoffs, and of course they're already positioned, I think, to be to be the number 2 seed. So yeah, so this is yeah. I mean, whoever they face in the first round, I think they should have no problem. But you hope that Kyrie Irving is back by the second round because you really need him against whoever they face if it does turn out to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I mean, I get the Cleveland Cavaliers have been struggling, but let's face it, as long as they still have LeBron James, you know the Cavs are going to be in it. So they really need Kyrie Irving big time come come the second round. So because and I have to agree with you, Fletch. If excuse me, if Kyrie Irving's not back in time for the second round, then I think you can pretty much kiss their chances of winning an NBA championship goodbye. So yeah, there's nothing more that needs to be said about it. So Florio, it's yours.
I'll tell you what, guys. Luckily for the Celtics, the bottom of the Eastern Conference playoff teams are weak. The Celtics have enough talent to finish out the regular season and most likely and possibly a first-round matchup without Kyrie Irving. But any aspirations for an 18th NBA championship is just unrealistic. That's all there is to say on that. Very unrealistic. I mean, this season started off with so much promise. I mean, yes, the Hayward injury, we all know that. I mean, I know that it was pretty much like the sky was falling. But after short time after that, they went on a humongous winning streak, a very long winning streak, like what, 14, 15 games, something like that. And they got white hot and everybody was excited and the whole 9 yards. But unfortunately, you just lost your franchise player for right now. And he's the third Celtic player within the last couple of weeks to undergo surgery, joining Daniel Theus, who had a torn meniscus, and Marcus Smart with a torn thumb tendon. And they played their last 5 games without the services of Irving, Smart, Theus, and Jaylen Brown with a concussion. And don't forget, of course, MF brought up the whole Gordon Hayward situation after that Sid Vicious-like injury he suffered on opening night. So, I don't know. But the Celtics are doing very well right now, honestly. They're 3 games behind Toronto in the Eastern Conference as of right now. They're one of the hottest teams right now. I only wish we were doing NBA power rankings right now because they would have been a lot easier than the NHL, let me tell you. Boston, with how hot they've been lately, they very likely would have been in the top 5 if we were doing NBA power rankings tonight.
Especially after a successful road trip.
Absolutely. 7-3 in their last 10 games and winners of 5 in a row. If we were doing NBA power rankings tonight, I'll tell you right now, the Houston Rockets would have been number 1 yet again because they're the hottest team right now. Right behind them would have been the Philadelphia 76ers. They would have been number 2. Cleveland would have most likely been number 3. So looking at the scope of the rankings, we were doing them tonight, I would have put the Boston Celtics right now at number 4. They would have been my number 4 team based on their 7-3 and winning 5 in a row. It would have been only good enough for number 4. Behind Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Houston. So that's if we were doing NBA power rankings. We're not doing NBA power rankings tonight. It's NHL power rankings. And I got to make some indemnits to mine based on some results tonight and the whole 9 yards. So, but as of right now, if the Boston Celtics were in the postseason as of right now, it would not be the Indiana Pacers, MF. as of right now, if they were going to be in the playoffs as the number 2 seed, the number 7 seed as of right now is the Miami Heat. They'd be going up against the Miami Heat in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Indiana Pacers would have to go up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Good luck with that. If you're a Sixer, I mean, especially for all you Sixer fans out there, trust the process. Oh yeah, they're going to trust the process, all right. But man alive, but I think they could get by Miami, but then they would have to very likely go up against Cleveland. And with how hot LeBron and company have been, I mean, they're 8-2 in their last 10 winners of 2 in a row. They would have been in the top 3 if we were doing NBA power rankings this evening, but we're not. So, yeah. So, Celtics can get by the first round, but second round, forget it. That's all there is to say on that. Forget it. So, breaks my heart as a long time fan of this team, just like Michael Bullock. I mean, Bullock's been a Celtic fan for his whole life. I grew up a Celtic fan, but then I crossed over to the quote-unquote dark side and joined MF and countless others with the Chicago Bulls right around 7th, 8th grade, right around 97, 98. It was really the 72 and 10 team that really drew me to them. And of course, I can honestly say I'm no longer a fan of that team. I've given up. I've jumped off the Bulls fan club there, and I'm basically back with Boston now. I mean, Boston's become my new team. Of course, I still have my love for San Antonio, of course. So I'm rooting for Boston. I really am. I mean, I really want to see this team do well. I would love to see them bring home an 18th NBA championship and to hang among the legendary banners in the TD Garden, which MF and Bullock have seen up close and personal on more than one occasion. I have yet to. I've never been to the TD Garden for any event whatsoever, whether it's NBA, NHL, WWE, what have you. So that's basically all I can say on that. So first round, they can get by the first round, but the second round, absolutely not. That's all I can say on that. So, but as we always say here, only time will tell. So now we move on to another superstar player dealing with a very serious injury right now, and that is Stephen Curry from your reigning and defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. Right now, according to some articles that I'm reading here, he injured his he's undergoing he's having MCL issues right now. And it's not the first time he sprained his MCL, and it surely is not a first among NBA superstars. He injured his knee last Friday, and as of right now, he has been ruled out for 3 to 6 weeks with a grade 2 MCL sprain. And the news is particularly devastating for the Golden State Warriors. The playoffs are right around the corner, but their 2-time MVP probably won't be ready for the first round. And each playoff round is about 2 weeks long. Curry's injury will sideline him a minimum of 3 weeks. Playoffs begin April 14th. The good news is Curry will make a full recovery. It's just unclear when he'll be back in playing shape. That definitely is not good news for a team whose throne is legitimately being challenged and threatened by the red-hot Houston Rockets this season. The Warriors will need Curry back and better than ever if they'll have a shot at beating league-best Houston in the playoffs. But just how big of a deal is Curry's MCL injury? History normally has the answers to the future. It was JaVale McGee. He rose into the air for a block and fell right into his knee. Curry limped up and down the court before exiting the game in visible pain. His injury was originally called a left knee sprain, and then last Saturday it was upgraded to a grade 2 MCL sprain. So, man alive. So, I'll give you more thoughts on this in just a moment, but for right now, let's bring Michael Bullock in for this one. Bullock, another superstar with a serious injury. I mean, you're talking about hard times for the Celtics without Kyrie Irving. We got major hard times for your reigning and defending champions. And I'm going to be real honest with you. They're not repeating this year. No way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, I think the only way they're going to repeat is if Steph Curry can be fully healthy and can get back to being that Steph Curry that he was that led the Warriors to two NBA titles in 3 years. So yeah, I mean this injury is really going to hurt them. I mean, but the good news is, I mean, they're already locked into their position, so they're already locked into the 2 seed. So I think the rest of the way they probably might start resting some players. So, but yeah, and in the first round they should have no problem with whoever they play. But I mean, unless Steph Curry is back and fully healthy, I agree. There is no way on earth they're going to repeat as NBA champions, especially against a red hot Houston Rockets team, which I've been very impressed with, and and have already locked up the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So, and I'll be quite honest, I think the road to an NBA championship is going to go through Houston, no doubt about it in my mind. I think it's going to be tough for anybody to beat that team. So we hope Steph Curry can get healthy, but unless he's fully healthy, there is no way they're becoming back-to-back champions. Florio, what's yours?
The Houston Rockets are winning it all this year, first of all. Let's get that out of the way. But getting back to the topic at hand, Blake Griffin had a similar MCL injury earlier this season. He's with the Detroit Pistons now. But before he was traded, Griffin missed 14 games with an MCL sprain, and the injury kept him out a month's time, though he was expected to be sidelined twice as long. Kevin Durant also suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain last season. You remember that huge chunk of games the Warriors played without him last season? That was because he had suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain exactly like Steph Curry's. Durant also suffered a tibial bone bruise along with that MCL sprain. He missed 20 games while sidelined for over a month. Curry's injury timeline will probably be similar. Lonzo Ball also had an MCL sprain this season. Missed 17 games with what was deemed a minor MCL sprain in mid-January. That injury kept him out for nearly a month and a half. When he returned, Ball began posting better shooting numbers than he had in the first half of the season. And Curry also suffered an MCL injury in the past. During the 2016 playoffs, he awkwardly slipped on defense near half court. He immediately grasped at his knee. It was a grade 1 MCL sprain that sidelined him for 2 weeks. So how is this going to affect the Warriors? Not all MCL sprains are created equal, even those of the same grade. There are variables to each player's injury timetable. It will very likely take Curry much longer than the minimum of 3 weeks to get back to the floor. What's certain, though, is that the Golden State Warriors will continue missing their 2-time MVP and floor general out there on the court. He missed 2 stretches of games due to ankle injuries this season. In his first stretch out, Golden State won 9 out of 11 games. In the second, more recent stretch, the Warriors, however, went 3-4, though there were several other players missing from injury as well. Even more concerning, the Warriors' offensive efficiency plummets when Curry is not on the floor. According to the Basketball Economist, Klay Thompson, for example, has an effective field goal percentage, nearly 14% worse when Curry's off the floor. Kevin Durant shoots 7.5% worse, and the entire Golden State team shoots about 7% worse. Curry sets the tempo for the Warriors' offense. Without him, they're almost a completely different team. Curry's injury timeline may be 3 to 6 weeks, but it's unclear which end of the spectrum he'll return on. The NBA playoffs start on April 14th. Curry's injuries aren't the only ones plaguing the Warriors, and the Western Conference playoff hunt has some tough opponents stacked between numbers 1 and 8. Coach Steve Kerr already said Curry was not going to be 100% until he got time to rest this summer. Now, the Warriors are just hoping they have him on the floor to help them make another deep playoff and championship run. I could see them maybe getting to the second round, maybe conference finals at best, but if they run into the Houston Rockets, they're not beating them. Nope. Matter of fact, the Houston Rockets, as of right now, are my favorites to win it all. That's all I can say right now. Of course, things will change, of course. I know I'm jumping the gun here, and I know MF's gonna, remind me of that like he always does. I hope he does. But if he doesn't, that's okay too. But if Golden State is gonna, be the next big dynasty in the NBA, they need Curry out there, and they need him out there badly. But remember, they still have Kevin Durant, they still have Klay Thompson, they still have Draymond Green. They're gonna be just fine. But if they're gonna win a second straight title and third in the last 4 years, as long as Steph's not around, that ain't happening. So that's all I can say on that. So MF, this is right in your wheelhouse. You know all about knee injuries. I mean, you focused on those, and MCL sprains, grade 2. Oh,
That's not good. That's not good. It's bad. An MCL sprain is as bad as you can say. There's really nothing more to say about that. Anthony, you're absolutely right. Right now, Houston's just playing unbelievable basketball. You have every right to call them the favorites to come out of the West. As far as winning the whole thing, yeah, a little too soon. But I definitely would say they're one of the favorites to win it all. I think Toronto might take umbrage with what you said. Definitely Cleveland will take umbrage with what you're saying. But as far as right now, those are the only two teams that I could think of that could stop Houston from winning it all. As far as Golden State goes, the injuries are just piling up by the day, and it's getting worse. So without a doubt, with Kyrie hurt, with him not playing, yeah, horrible situation. But it is what it is. You got to handle your business. You got to do what you got to do, and hopefully hope for the best. And that's all that I can say about that. So nothing more to say. It's been an amazing season for them. And yeah, Anthony, it's all yours.
Yes, indeed. And before we move on to our next story, as of right now, the Golden State Warriors, currently the number 2 seed in the Western Conference with a record of 54-21. They're very likely going to finish as the number 2 seed, but believe it or not, if we were doing NBA Power Rankings tonight, they wouldn't even be in them. They would have been our dud team because they've lost 3 in a row and they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. And as of right now, they would be in a matchup with the upstart New Orleans Pelicans, and there's a chance for an upset there. There really is, because New Orleans has been playing well, even though they've lost 3 in a row and are 5-5 in their last 10. But that's a fun young team they're going up against. So it would be New Orleans as of right now. Maybe they could get by New Orleans, and if they get out of that, they'll very likely go up against the 3-6 winner, which would either be Portland or Oklahoma City. And that's going to be a tough matchup regardless of who it is. So, but we'll see. We have a couple more weeks before the playoffs start. Playoffs start in 2 weeks, so very exciting stuff. So now let's move on to college basketball now. One more story before we get into our huge double main event tonight. Dan Hurley leaving the University of Rhode Island and named the new head coach of UConn. The former URI coach received a 6-year deal, and he will be paid $2.75 million in the first season. He was introduced at a news conference. Well, he was already introduced at a news conference last week. In the statement announcing his hiring, Hurley said he was honored and excited to become the new men's basketball coach. He replaces Kevin Ollie, who the Huskies fired earlier this month after a 4th subpar season. Hurley, who informed his team of the decision early last Thursday morning, inherited a fledgling Rhode Island program 6 seasons ago and took the Rams to the NCAA tournament in each of the past 2 seasons. He weighed 3 offers over the past couple of days, not just from UConn, but also from Pittsburgh, as well as an increased long-term offer from Rhode Island. And Hurley will bring his assistant, Tom Moore, who was an assistant under Jim Calhoun at UConn, with him, according to sources, but the rest of the staff will depend on whether his top assistant, David Cox, is elevated at URI. Ultimately, it was the history in stores that proved to be the difference for Hurley. UConn is the only program in the country that has won 4 national championships in the past 2 decades. While the Huskies lack high-level talent, Hurley still believes the program represented his best opportunity to be successful, sources said, even though Pittsburgh offered a more lucrative deal. The Panthers, who were winless in the ACC this past season, Kevin Stallings second with the program, and 9 players have requested their releases and will consider transferring. Sources told ESPN that Pittsburgh's offer to Hurley was in excess of $3 million a year. URI's offer, per sources, was $2 million a year for 7 years, beginning in July 2019, with a commitment to build a basketball-only practice facility to be completed within the next 2 years, along with staff salary increases and the ability to charter for all away games. UConn won the national title in 2014, Ollie's second season at the helm, but the Huskies have gone to the NCAA tournament just once in the last 4 years, in 2016, when their season was saved by a 70-foot prayer by Jalen Adams in the American Athletic Conference tournament. UConn finished 14-18 this past season. Hurley will inherit a roster that has been depleted by defections and poor recruiting. Terry Larrier has announced he will leave to turn pro, and Adams, the team's top player, has been non-committal about whether he will return. But Hurley, son of legendary high school coach Bob Hurley Sr. and the brother of current Arizona State coach and former Duke superstar Bobby Hurley, is used to rebuilding. He did it at St. Benedict's Prep School in New Jersey, at Wagner College, and most recently at URI. So, great hire for UConn. Dan Hurley, one of the more underrated coaches in the league today. I mean, before him, URI was a meh team. Let's be realistic. They were terrible. But the last 2 seasons, last year, led them to the Atlantic 10 Tournament Championship. They nearly successfully defended it this past season before getting upset in the championship game. So, yeah, you saw what he did at URI the past 2 seasons, and that's a big loss for URI. I mean, that's really going to hurt them going forward, I think. But UConn, one of the most legendary programs of all time, mainly because of the success of Jim Calhoun and the legends upon legends who played with that team, you know, from Ray Allen to Richard Hamilton, Kemba Walker, just to name a few. I mean, all those championships that they won, winning the titles, winning 4 national championships, 1999, the upset over Duke, 2004, the win over Georgia Tech, and then 2011 when they knocked off the Cinderella Butler, and then most recently in 2014 that Cinderella championship run, that underdog run they went on in 2014 when they won it all. So if anybody can get UConn back to prominence, I think Dan Hurley is the perfect man for the job. I think he can get it done without a doubt. I mean, a dismal season, a hard-time season this past season, 14-18. Kevin Ollie underwent a lot of scrutiny in the whole 9 yards. A lot of bad news came out. A lot of disheartening news that came out about him and the whole 9 yards. But I think Danny Hurley is the perfect man for the job. I mean, that Hurley family. You think about the legacy, Bob Sr. with his great high school career. Of course, MF could tell you stories out for days about Bobby Hurley and in his days at Duke. I mean, that's what got MF into Duke, and that's why he's been a lifelong Duke fan for the last 25 or so years, and still is to this day. Sorry about what happened this past week, MF. Coming up just short against Kansas in that epic game that you got to witness the other day. So, but anyways, that's my thought on it. Dan Hurley, perfect man for the job. I think he can lead UConn back to prominence. And I'll tell you what, next season, mark my words, UConn basketball will be back, and I think they'll be in the tournament next year. So with all that being said, MF, Dan Hurley, perfect man for the job. I think UConn will be back next year.
Well, I don't know if they're going to make the tournament next year. I mean, it is a rebuilding project, and depending on how many players they get, how many people are going to be a part of that UConn crew. I mean, I think he might be on the process of doing yet another another rec project. I think this could be another URI. I think he's gonna have a little bit of some growing pains at the very beginning. I think give it 2 or 3 years before we see UConn become that prominent team again. And plus, you're playing in the American Athletic Conference. This is not the ACC. This is not the Atlantic 10, where I think the conference is a little more easier to navigate through. So I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be real honest with you on about that. I mean, if you would have gone into the ACC, if you would have taken the Pittsburgh job, I mean, you're gonna be dealing with the likes of Virginia, Duke, North Carolina. You're gonna be dealing with some heavyweights. But at least in this situation, I like what I see from this team. There was some academic issues with UConn that kind of was also another reason why Kevin Ollie got fired. Not only just the subpar performances, but there was also some allegations of some misconduct and whatnot going around. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was good what they did. I liked what I saw. Really nothing more to say. So, yeah, it's been an unbelievable season for them, unbelievable job. So we're just going to go from there. There's really nothing more to say. It's just, I wish him nothing but the best. And look, Dan Hurley's done an incredible job with URI. I think we all can agree with that. What he's done for the team and what he did for that university was amazing. It's just going to be, who are they going to get next? Who's going to be that next person on the team? Well, we'll wait and see what happens. But unbelievable staff and unbelievable job that they've done in the recent years. I wish them, like I said, again, I wish him nothing but the best. So, Dan Hurley, good luck in UConn. I know a lot of people in Kingston was not happy with you on their way out, but when you get an opportunity to grab and go for what I believe is one of the more storied universities in college basketball. I mean, UConn is no slouch, man. Multi-time national champion. Used to be a member of the Big East Conference. Anthony, you know them really well. So being from when they were in the Big East, but I wish them nothing but the best. So yeah, this has been an unbelievable job and an unbelievable hire for them. Good luck. That's all I can say. Mike Bullock, I know this kind of really digged at you a little bit because of how much you respect URI and love that factor. So it's all yours, my friend. Give me your thoughts about Dan Hurley going to UConn.
Well, I'll be quite honest with you, Fletch. I mean, I wasn't that upset about Dan Hurley leaving for a different job. In this case, UConn, because I even told my father about this. Even after URI's loss, I told him, "Hey, he's going to be a candidate for a coaching job somewhere." Especially after what he's done for URI. I mean, leading them to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances, and of course this past season winning the Atlantic 10 regular season title and came close to winning another tournament title. And yeah, I mean, I know there are probably some students over at URI that are that's not too happy about it, but hey, he made a business decision. He wanted another challenge, and it doesn't get any bigger than UConn because of all the success they've had with the national championships they won on the men's side. So yeah, I wish Dan Hurley nothing but the best. And so, yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So let's just move right along, Florio.
Yeah. I believe I already said my thoughts on this. So all right. Let me see. Now we're gonna get into the fun stuff here, guys. The first half of our double main event, the Final Four. Tomorrow night, the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. For the first time ever, broadcasting on TBS, not CBS. TBS is going to have these two games plus the national championship game on Monday night. So we're going to start it off with our first matchup. The number 11 seed Loyola of Chicago Ramblers squaring off against the number 3 seed Michigan Wolverines. Tip off around approximately 6:09. MF, we started with you here. Question is, of course, Michigan's obviously going to be the favorite, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but
they're 5-point favorite.
5-point favorite?
Mm-hmm. 5 points.
Yep, okay. So the question here is, Michigan, obviously the favorite, can they keep their dominance up, or will the team that has captivated the nation, led by a 98-year-old nun who has become a household name in Sister Jean, can Loyola of Chicago pull off another divine miracle here?
Anything can happen when it's the NCAA tournament, and I think we've already seen. I mean, if you want to talk about topsy-turvy and craziness and the whole 9 yards, I mean, we saw a 16 beat a 1 2 weeks ago, and we covered it right here on this show. So, I mean, yeah, anything can happen. It's the NCAA tournament, and you know, when you got something like that, it's unbelievable how this thing can play out, how this thing can go. It's just, what do you do in those clutch situations? What do you do when the game is on the line? And so far, Loyola Chicago has answered every question that needed to be answered. You know, the at the end of the day, it depends on who wants it more, who definitely is going to dig down deep, and basically you just have to have the heart of the champion more than anything else. And that's really the big factor, is who is going to be that team that's going to step out and stretch out and become that national, and become the national champions. And at the end of the day, it's all about playing. It's all about the heart. It's all about commitment. It's all about, just being that team. So at the end of the day, you go from there, you see what happens, and it's going to be unbelievable. This is going to be an incredible national semifinal. Obviously, a lot of people want Michigan to win. I mean, Michigan's been red hot. A lot of people thought that Michigan really needed to, fight their way into the tournament, which they did. And, because a lot of people didn't think that they were going to get the whole thing. But when they did, they made it count when they needed it the most. And at the end of the day, that's the factor. They played with the great intensity, great passion. And I'm going to say it. They remind me of a Duke. They remind me of a North Carolina team. They will beat you down. They will wear you out. And then they will kill you with the 3-point shot. So Michigan's really going to have to be very careful with this and try not to fall into the trap that, because of Loyola Chicago, they're easy pickings. As you can tell, they're not easy pickings. They are definitely a lot more of a skillful team, a challenging team. Would I be stunned if Loyola Chicago wins it and goes to the national title game on Monday night? Absolutely not. But I kind of feel like in this situation, I'm going to go with the favorite. I'm going to go with Michigan. However, I would not be stunned if Loyola does win it. My final score in the first national semifinal game, 86-82, Michigan advance to the national title game on Monday night. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this is basically been a topsy-turvy NCAA tournament. I mean, with the 16 seed being a 1 seed, and some of the other upsets we have seen in this tournament, and I don't think anybody would have. Predicted Loyola to get to the Final Four, but here they are, and can they pull it off? I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, Michigan's been playing well as of late, but the thing is, in some brackets, I mean, everybody continues to pick against Loyola, and look what happens. They prove everyone wrong. So, man, this is a tough one, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm pulling the trigger. I mean, as much as I love Michigan, I'm going with Loyola to pull off the upset once again and move on to the national championship game. My final score 83-81. Loyola keeps its its Cinderella NCAA tournament going and moves on to the national championship game. I mean, so many people have picked against Loyola in this tournament, and look what happens. They've proven everyone wrong. And to me, this is a team of destiny right here. I mean, with what they've done. So I'm riding along with them. So there's really nothing more for me to say. I'm going with the upset here. So Florio, comes down to the ultimate question. Who do you agree with?
Before I give you that, as Michigan and Loyola Chicago prepare for the national semifinal in San Antonio tomorrow night, two things are obvious. One, the winner of the game will be the underdog in the national championship game on Monday, regardless of who comes out of that Kansas-Villanova game. But second and most important, one of these teams will have an unexpected opportunity of a lifetime. While the second game on Saturday between Villanova and Kansas is the more marquee matchup that many aren't surprised made the Final Four, Michigan and Loyola will battle to see if their unexpected feel-good stories will continue all the way to the national championship game. Michigan, the number 3 seed out of the West, looking to become the first team to ever advance to the national championship game without playing a team seeded 5th or higher. Man, can you believe that, huh? That's an interesting stat there. But anyone who has watched the Wolverines play the past 2 months knows their advancement to San Antonio was anything but a product of a favorable path. Michigan entered the tournament as one of the hotter teams in the country following wins over top 10 opponents Michigan State and Purdue, the Big Ten tournament, and the Wolverines have not slowed down. They come to San Antonio on a 13-game winning streak and have showcased the ability to win games without playing its best offensively. Wolverines have been subpar on offense in 3 of their 4 tournament wins, with the lone exception being a 99-point outburst in a 99-72 regional semifinal win over Texas A&M. But thanks to a buzzer-beating 3 from roughly 30 feet by Jordan Poole that beat Houston in the second round and stellar defense throughout, Michigan has advanced to its second Final Four in the last 6 years. Michigan would love nothing better than to give their 65-year-old head coach John Beilein his first national championship as he heads into the final years of his career. You remember, Michigan went to the title game in 2013, but lost to Louisville in a result that has been since vacated by Louisville due to NCAA sanctions. And of course, we crowned them the uncrowned champions. Michigan might have been a surprise to make the Final Four once February came, but that has nothing on Loyola. Very few had the Ramblers penciled in for the Final Four, but that is what the mid-major out of Missouri Valley Conference finds itself after a dream ride. First came back-to-back buzzer-beating wins over Miami and Tennessee in the first 2 rounds of the South, then a 1-point win over Nevada in the regional semis, and then they routed Kansas State 78-62 in the regional final to continue its Cinderella story. Just don't tell Loyola head coach Porter Moser that his team is a Cinderella story. A guard-heavy team that relies on ball movement and penetration, Loyola will have its toughest test of the season against the Michigan defense that has shut opposing guards down throughout its winning streak. The Wolverines are the highest-rated defensive team of the squads in the Final Four. Loyola has played solid defense in its own right in its tournament run, so the game will be a battle to see which team can execute best in half-court sets rather than a fast-paced contest. This is tough. I've been very high on Michigan since the Big Ten tournament. I've told several of my sports buddies at my job this. I've said I've been very high on Michigan. But with what Loyola Chicago has done and my love for underdog stories and my love for underdog teams, my gut is telling me to go with Michigan, but my heart is telling me to go with Loyola Chicago. And I recently had a Facebook chat with my sister's friend Dawn Avalar. You remember the Golden State Warrior, the diehard Golden State Warrior fan? She's been captivated by Loyola of Chicago, and who hasn't been captivated by them? Especially that lovely 98-year-old nun, Sister Jean, who has become a household name. And she had a press conference of her own earlier. I didn't see much of it, but I heard
she's become like an inspiration for that team.
Yes, and you remember, and I'm glad you brought that up, Bullock. I mean, you remember last week, before that regional final game against Kansas State, she led the team in a prayer before the game. That a team that prays together before a game wins the game. That's all I can say there. And that's why they won that game over Kansas State. I have no doubt they'll probably have another prayer before this game against Michigan. And with the inspiration that Sister Jean has had on this team, as much as I think Michigan is the better team, and I think Michigan, should have, and as high as I've been on Michigan pretty much since the Big Ten tournament, I got to go with you, Bullock. I got to go with Loyola of Chicago. I just, I've got this feeling. I got this feeling in my gut that they can pull this off. And I'm rooting for this team. I really am. I want to see them in that national championship game on Monday night, regardless of who comes out of our next matchup, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But nonetheless, you guys didn't have to give me a score, but since you guys gave one, Jesus, it's easier to predict football scores than it is to predict college basketball scores. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring, if I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm going to go maybe 70-66. Loyola of Chicago over Michigan to advance to the national championship game and keep their Cinderella and underdog story alive. I'm rooting for these young men. I really am. So I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with Loyola of Chicago. If Michigan wins, I would not be surprised at all. Really wouldn't. But nonetheless, let's move on, gentlemen, to the second game. Tip off at approximately 8:49 tomorrow night, and what a matchup we have here. A battle of the two remaining number one seeds in this tournament. The Kansas Jayhawks out of the Big 12 squaring off against the Villanova Wildcats out of my Big East. Kansas winning the Midwest region. And, Kansas won the Midwest, and Villanova coming out of the East. Michael Bullock, we start this one off with you here. Great matchup here. This has the potential to be a five-star classic without question. Kansas, Villanova, who's going to the national championship game against your proposed Loyola of Chicago.
Yeah, this to me is going to be the best of the two national semifinal matchups. I mean, two schools, that have basically been there and done that. I mean, Bill Self with the Kansas Jayhawks team, primed to once again win another national championship, while Villanova, they are on the verge of another national championship after their run of a couple of years ago. So this is a tough one. Part of me is telling me to go with Villanova. Another part of me is telling me to go with Kansas. But man, this is tough. Oh man. The thing is, for the Wildcats, they got into this tournament by with what they've done with the 3-point line. And if they can continue hitting their 3-point shots, I think it's going to be tough for Kansas to pull this one out. Meanwhile, Kansas, of course, is led by Big 12 Player of the Year senior guard Devontae Graham with 17 points a game, and sophomore guard Malik Newman, who was named the Midwest Region Most Outstanding Player after averaging almost 22 points in its first 4 NCAA tournament wins. And he scored a career-high 32 against Duke in the Elite Eight. So, like I said, this is going to be a 5-star classic, but I think, to me, in the end, I am going to go with Villanova. Villanova, I think, will win in a close one. I'm going to say 78-75. Villanova wins and moves on to the national championship game on Monday night. So, Florio, it is yours.
Whoa, wow. Major upset from the world of women's college basketball. The UConn women have been defeated. Whoa.
Oh my goodness, again for the second straight year?
Notre Dame defeats the UConn women 91.
Wow, last year Mississippi State, now Notre Dame.
It was
91-89 in overtime. All right, MF, how did it happen?
It was an unbelievable game. It came down to a crucial moment. Notre Dame hit a crucial shot with 3 seconds left. UConn had a chance, but they blew the layup at the buzzer. It was a point-blank shot. It would have forced double overtime, but Notre Dame escapes, and they play Mississippi State, who also went into overtime. They won 84-74 over Louisville. So on Sunday night, on Easter night, it is going to be Mississippi State versus Notre Dame for the women's national championship.
So much for that being the UConn Invitational nowadays. Wow. I mean, think of the dominance of the UConn women, and for them to lose to Notre Dame, unbelievable. That's all I can say on that. And remember this, friends, nobody is unbeatable. That's all I can say on that. Nobody is unbeatable. So, okay. Getting back to the business at hand, my thoughts on Kansas and Villanova. MF will get to your thoughts in just a moment. The second Final Four matchup tomorrow night will feature a pair of number 1 seeds when Villanova battles Kansas in San Antonio. The winner, of course, will meet either Michigan or Loyola Chicago for the national championship on Monday night. Villanova defeated Texas Tech 71-59 in the East region of the Elite Eight, while Kansas ousted Duke 85-81 in an overtime thriller in the Midwest that MF got to witness. It's the 6th Final Four appearance for the Wildcats and the second in the last 3 years. They captured the national championship in 2016 for the program's second championship to go with the one in 1985. One more victory would tie the 35 wins accomplished by the 2016 team. This will be the third meeting between the schools in the NCAA tournament. Villanova defeated the Jayhawks in the 2016 South Regional Final in Louisville, while Kansas was victorious in the 2008 NCAA Regional Semifinal in Detroit. The Wildcats began this Final Four run by knocking down a bevy of threes, but they're hardly defined by just shooting because they hit just 4 of 24 treys against the Red Raiders, yet managed to win. Still, Villanova has drained 436 three-pointers and entered the Final Four just 6 shy of the NCAA single-season record for made three-pointers set by VMI in 2007. Villanova junior guard Jalen Brunson, a National Player of the Year candidate, was named the MOP at the East Regional. Brunson averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in Boston. Brunson was part of Villanova's national championship team 2 years ago. The gritty win over Texas Tech in the Elite Eight proved to Brunson how tough this current group of Wildcats has become. As for Kansas, they advanced to its 15th Final Four and its third under head coach Bill Self with its win against Duke. The Jayhawks last advanced to the Final Four in 2012 when they fell in the championship game to heavily favored Kentucky. Senior guard Devontae Graham, the Big 12 Player of the Year, the only Division I player averaging more than 17 points, 7 assists, and 1.6 steals while committing fewer than 3 turnovers a game. Sophomore guard Malik Newman was named Midwest Regional MOP after averaging a team-high 21.8 points in his first 4 tournament wins and scored a career-high 32 in the Elite Eight win against Duke. The Jayhawks are far from satisfied, simply reaching the Final Four. Kansas and Villanova have few weaknesses. It's going to come down to execution in this national semifinal. So the difference, I don't think the differences are that great. I don't know if that's an advantage for being in this game or that game. I don't know. You can make a case probably for both of them. But for me, I know a lot of people are going to say it's because of my Big East bias, but no. Let's be realistic. As great as both teams are, I just think Villanova is the better team. And that's why I have Villanova winning this game as well. I agree with you, Michael Bullock. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be maybe 85-81 Villanova over Kansas. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes to overtime. That's how good these two teams are, really. But I just think Villanova will find a way to win. So my national title game on Monday night, just like Michael Bullock, will be Loyola of Chicago against Villanova. So, of course, you know, I'm going to want Villanova to win because I'm a Big East guy. So that's all I can say on that. Give me Villanova in this one. So, MF, I mean, you know how good Kansas is. I mean, you witnessed a 5-star classic on Sunday with Kansas knocking off Duke, breaking you and your fellow Dukies' hearts. But, you know, it is what it is. And Nova with another easy win over Texas Tech. So can Kansas grit another one out? Or is Nova just that damn good right now? I think they're the most complete team in this tournament. So that's all I can say. So what do you say?
Well, yeah, I actually got into a conversation with somebody about this, and even I'll openly admit it, they got Kansas winning. They actually got Kansas winning the game, and because of the fact that, I hate to say this, but Nova hasn't been tested at all. Not in this tournament. Not up to this point. They have been dominating. They've been amazing. They've been everything. Kansas has had some warrior fights that they had to get through. You know, Clemson was no slouch. Duke, we already know how great that battle was and how epic that war was. So I gotta disagree with you guys. I'm gonna go with Kansas to win the game and advance on Monday night because of the fact I just believe they are more battle tested than Nova. And as you saw with UConn here tonight, UConn wasn't really tested up to the point in the NCAA tournament until they faced Notre Dame, and we saw what just happened. Notre Dame is going to the final. So you can say whatever you want to say. I think Nova will make a game out of it, but I'm sorry, guys. I disagree, and my final score is going to reflect that. My final score is I believe Kansas is going to win this game 87-82 over Villanova. I got Kansas going to the national title game on Monday night. So, gentlemen, nothing more to say. We move on to our main event of the evening.
But before we do, I'm going to make this a quick open forum here. Who's cutting down the nets on Monday night? And that started with you.
Because I got Michigan and Kansas, I got Michigan winning the national championship.
Bullock, you have Loyola Chicago against Villanova. Who wins it all?
I got Villanova cutting down the nets.
As much as I want to see Loyola Chicago win it all, and I do because of my love for underdog stories, I got to go with my Big East representative. I got to go with Villanova. Bring it home for the Big East. That's all I can say. Bring it home for the Big East like you did 2 years ago. Let's do it for the second time in 3 years. So I got Nova winning it all as well. So, oh boy, there's really nothing left for me to say here except now let's move on to the other half of our double main event. And And I believe, even though it hasn't been officially said, I do believe this will be our final NHL Power Rankings because of, the shows that we have coming up. Because, next week we're going to have our WrestleMania coverage. And then, of course, the week after that, we'll have NBA Power Rankings. And I believe by the time we get to the week after that, I believe the Stanley Cup playoffs will be in full effect. So I think for all intents and purposes, this will be our final NHL Power Rankings for this season. So, like I said, I had to make some indemnits to some of my previous rankings that I had at the start of this day. But I think the changes that I have made are necessary and acceptable. So there's nothing left for me to say here except I do have a couple of duds. My first dud is the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers, 5-4-1 in their last 10 games, losers of 2 in a row. I got them on the outs. And my other dud, believe it or not, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 5-5 in their last 10 games, 1-game winning streak. Of course, you saw what they did tonight. Easy win over the New York Rangers, who basically have phoned it in this season. But mark my words, friends, the New York Rangers will be back next year. And for the first time in a long time, will not be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And unfortunately, for all of you fans out there who love and enjoy what MF and I have done over the last few years, our Ranger Roundup, unfortunately, we will not have a Ranger Roundup this year because the New York Rangers are not in the playoffs. So never thought I'd hear myself say that, but, it is what it is. But the only thing I can say going forward is there's one of two teams I'm personally rooting for to win it all. The team that I originally grew up rooting for, the Boston Bruins, and the other, of course, being the expansion Vegas Golden Knights. Those are the two teams that I want to see win it all. So, but with all that being said, let's dive right on into the power rankings, gentlemen. And I'm going to start it off at number 10 with your reigning and defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. 1-game winning streak, 44-28-6, 94 points. 5 points behind the Washington Capitals in the Metropolitan Division. They lead the league in power play. They're second in goal scoring, but they have to work on the penalty kill. They're 19th. They got to work on goaltending. They're 21st. Obviously, with Marc-Andre Fleury in Vegas, that took a big hit. And, of course, the penalty minutes, they got to stay out of the box. They're 25th in that area. So since our last power rankings, a road loss at the Islanders, a home win over Montreal, a home loss to New Jersey, a home win over Philadelphia, road loss at Detroit of all teams. Wow. And a nice road win at New Jersey last night. They got Montreal coming in tomorrow. They got the Washington Capitals coming in on Easter Sunday. Whoa, that's a big one. And then April 5th, they're at Columbus. April 6th, they're at home against Ottawa. And that's the end of the regular season. So obviously they're going to look to three-peat, become 3 consecutive Stanley Cup championships. I don't know. I don't really know if they can do it. I mean, they obviously have the team to do it, but I just don't know if they have what it takes to make it. I mean, we got some really great teams in the East. One of them I just mentioned, Tampa Bay, even though they've been struggling, but and of course you got Boston, you got the Washington Capitals in that mix, and a couple of upstart teams in Toronto and Jersey. I just don't know if this team can make it can not only make it back to the final, but let alone win it for a third straight year. It would be amazing. It would be the first time in like decades and years. I got to look into that to see who was the last team to win at least 3 consecutive Stanley Cups in a row. So, but then again, in the playoffs, we know what this team is capable of. And as much as MF and I hate their guts as Ranger fans, I don't know. There's always something about this team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They end up being so damn dangerous, and they just get hot at the right time. And then lo and behold, vis-a-vis, they go on to win it all. So we'll see. But for right now, they're number 10, the Pittsburgh Penguins, your back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. So MF, what says you?
the Pittsburgh Penguins, Anthony, you really nailed it on this one. I and I know you know my Phoenix team, but they've been playing good. They've been playing great, solid enough. Key moments that they needed to play in. There's really nothing more to say. So yes, I agree. Number 10, Pittsburgh Penguins. Michael Bullock, go.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Penguins are my number 10 as well. So there's really nothing more that needs to be said. Let's just move right along to our number 9. And Fletch, you start us off.
Oh boy. Okay. There's 3 teams right now I'm looking at for the number 9 spot. And I'm going to openly admit it. I'm going to call them out right now, and you guys can feel whatever you want to feel. Philadelphia Flyers, Minnesota Wild, and the Vegas Golden Knights. This is wicked hard because there's 3 teams that I'm looking at, and only one can get this spot. And when you do the body of work, when you do all the stuff, first off, Vegas, you got 103 points. I'm not gonna. You guys are higher, so you're not it. So now I'm either down with Philly or Minnesota, and I'm looking at both, thinking long and hard. And when push comes to shove, one's a guaranteed playoff team, one is a wild card team as of right now, and Philly's has about 4 games to go. So what do I do here? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's so tough, but it comes down to the last 10. Well, actually, they're identical. It's virtually identical. It's a wash. Oh boy, what to do? All right. God, I hate to do this. This is something Florio does all the time. I never, ever do this. I gotta call it. Tie. Philly, Minnesota, tie at number 9. I can't put one over the other. Oh, I hate to do this. I didn't want to do that, but I gotta do it. It's virtually identical. It's almost identical stat-wise. I mean, if you go for the shootout wins to losses, all right, I'll give you Minnesota because they're 3-3, where Philly's 2-7. But the last 10 games is identical. The winning streak is identical. I got to do it. I got to call tie. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I'm gonna say a tie too. Philadelphia and Minnesota at number 9, and I mean, yeah, you just can't put one team over the other. So yeah, Fletch pretty much said it. So let's just move on to Florio.
You want to talk rarities? I'll give you a rarity in just a moment. If the Pittsburgh Penguins were to somehow win their 3rd straight Stanley Cup, they would be the first team since the New York Islanders from 1980 to 1983, when they won those 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, to be the last team that won 3 or more, to win at least 3 or more in a row. So that's what's facing Pittsburgh, the first team since the Islanders, those great Islander teams from 80 to 83 with Bossy and Trottier and Billy Smith and Clark Gillies and Bob Nystrom and all that great array of talent and the great Al Arbor. But nonetheless, there is a rarity here. You're on the right track, MF, but just a smidgen less here. It's not often I do this, but I'm calling 3-way tie here. And the Vegas Golden Knights are not one of them. I don't even have Vegas in. Vegas is an honorable mention. Because, the one loss there, I mean, yes, they're winning right now, 3-2 against the red hot St. Louis Blues. But But nonetheless, Vegas on the outside looking in, even though I'm rooting very hard for them, you know me. But Three-way tie for me. You're right with two of them. You're right with Philadelphia. You're right with Minnesota. But there's one other team in there. And that's the Boston Bruins. Those are my three teams. Boston, Philly, and Minnesota. All three teams, 5-2-3 in their last 10 games and on one-game winning streaks. You're absolutely spot on that. Last night, the Boston Bruins pulled off a miraculous win, but we'll get into that in just a minute. They're third in goaltending, fifth in the power play. Let me tell you about the power play. 19 power play goals in the month of March, a single month record. No team has ever scored more power play goals in a single month than the Boston Bruins have in March of 2018. 19 power play goals. Amazing. That's why they're fifth in that percentage. They're sixth in goal scoring. They're eighth in the penalty kill. The only thing they have to work on is staying out of the box. They're 24th in that regard. Since our last rankings, road win at Tampa Bay, home loss to Columbus, road win at St. Louis, or actually it was a home loss to Columbus, a road loss at St. Louis, nice road wins in Dallas and Minnesota, a tough road loss at Winnipeg, and then that big win over Tampa Bay on Thursday night. They got Florida coming in on tomorrow for an afternoon matinee, and then they got to go to Philly on Easter Sunday for another afternoon matinee. NBC Sunday afternoon game of the week. Should be a good one. At Tampa Bay on Tuesday, big one there. That game could very well determine who wins the Atlantic Division. At Florida on Thursday. Next Saturday, they're home against Ottawa. And believe it or not, guys, they're playing on the night of WrestleMania. And they're going to be hosting the Florida Panthers as WrestleMania 34 gets underway. So Boston Bruins 48-17-11, 107 points, 1 point behind Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay took over the top spot with their easy win over the Rangers, and I do mean easy. Oh, it was that easy. But nonetheless, that's the story for the Boston Bruins. I mean, the team of my youth, the team that I originally grew up rooting for. I'm rooting for that team to do well, especially with the Rangers out. I'm going to be rooting hard for them to go all the way. Them in Vegas, absolutely. Minnesota Wild is my other number 9, 43, 24, and 10, 96 points. They're third in the Central Division behind Nashville and Winnipeg. They're 5-2-3 in their last 10. They've won 1. They're middle of the road. They're 11th in goals scoring, 12th in goals against, 15th in power play and penalty kill, 14th in minutes. Not bad at all. Let's see here. Since our last rankings, they had road wins over Vegas and Arizona, a home loss to Los Angeles, a nice home win over Nashville, a tough home loss to Boston, a tough road loss at Nashville, but an easy win over Dallas. Last night, they're at Dallas as part of a home and home. They're going to Dallas tonight, and then on Monday they'll be at home against Edmonton, and then they're going to close out the regular season on a 3-game West Coast road trip in Anaheim, Los Angeles, and San Jose, respectively. So that's the story with Minnesota. And my final number 9 in this rare 3-way tie, it is the Philadelphia Flyers. Philly, 39, 25, and 14, 92 points. They're fourth in the Metropolitan Division. They're 5-2-3 in their last 10. They've won 1 in a row. 13th in goals scoring, 15th in penalty minutes, 16th in goals against, 17th in power play, 26th in penalty kill. They got to improve on pretty much all of that if they're going to have any chance in the playoffs, should they make it. Since our last power rankings, a road win at Carolina, a nice home win over Washington, a bad road loss at Detroit, a home win over the Rangers, and then back-to-back road losses at Pittsburgh and Dallas, but a nice win over Colorado on Wednesday. Easter Sunday, they got the Boston Bruins coming in. That's a big game right there. Playoff implications there without a doubt. And then on Tuesday, they're at the Islanders. And then they closed the season with 2 home games, one against Carolina on Thursday. And then next Saturday, they end the regular season at home. A rare Saturday afternoon matinee on NBC when they host the New York Rangers. So yes, a rare 3-way tie. Boston Bruins, Minnesota Wild, Philadelphia Flyers, my number 9's Vegas on the outside looking in, I'm afraid. So let's move on to number 8. And I promise you there's no tie at number 8. I do have a couple more ties, honestly, but this is not one of them. My number 8, straight up, Colorado Avalanche. 42, 28, and 8, 92 points, 4th in the Central Division, 6-4 in their last 10 games. Won their last game out. 3rd in penalty kill. They're really good on penalty kill. 10th in goals scoring, 14th in goals against and power play, and they're 20th in penalty minutes. So they got to work on that if they make it. So great young team with Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, I love MacKinnon. He's been on a red-hot tear. He's making a very strong case for Hart Memorial Trophy. Let me tell you, that young man's been playing out of his mind lately. Since our last power rankings, home loss to Nashville, home win over Detroit, home win, a road win at Chicago, a bad home loss to LA. They got annihilated by LA 7-1. A nice home win over Vegas, but then they lost to Vegas at Vegas Monday. Lost at home to Philadelphia Wednesday, and then tonight they absolutely had their way with the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't even know who they are anymore. Colorado 5-0 beatdown of Chicago tonight. Easter Sunday, they're at Anaheim. Monday, they're at Los Angeles. Thursday, they're at San Jose. And then next Saturday, they end the regular season at home against the St. Louis Blues, the red-hot St. Louis Blues, who are currently in my top 3 as of right now. Is it top 3? Yes, top 3. So that's all I can say on that. So number 8, Colorado Avalanche, led by those 2 young studs, Nathan MacKinnon and Gabriel Landeskog. But keep your eye on MacKinnon. That's a Hart Trophy contender right there. So Colorado Avalanche, number 8, MF. If you're still with us after all of that, you're number 8.
Boston Bruins. I got to hold that big victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning to be very, very crucial. That was a big win for them. So that kind of gives me the just pause to do what I just did. But I do agree. I think Colorado is a little higher. I kind of disagree with what you just said there. So give me Boston at number 8. And Michael Bullock, I give it to
you. Yeah, my number 8 is the Boston Bruins as well. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's just move right along to number 7, and Fletch, you take it.
I got Colorado here. You are absolutely right about what they've been doing. Nathan MacKinnon has been unbelievable, man. Obviously, and he has become a bright young star in this team, and oh my God, what a season he's had, to say the very least. I got nothing bad to say. He's an unbelievable player. He's going to be a beast for years and years to come. There's really nothing more to say. They're just been unbelievable, and whatever may happen, whatever the road may be for this team, could it be a Stanley Cup playoff berth? It looks like it could be. We don't know yet, but they're just having an unbelievable season. So nothing more to say. My number 7 is the Colorado Avalanche. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Colorado Avalanche as well as at my number 7. So let's just move right along to Florio's number 7.
Tie at number 7, the Winnipeg Jets, and making the power rankings for the first time this season, at least my power rankings, the New Jersey Devils. Both teams 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, 1 game losing streaks apiece. For the Winnipeg Jets, what a season this team has had. 47, 20, and 10, 104 points. Second in the Central behind Nashville. 6-3-1 in the last 10 games. They lost their last game out. They're 4th in goal scoring, 4th in power play, 6th in goaltending, 9th in penalty kill. and 12th in penalty minutes. That's not bad at all across the board. That's pretty good. Since our last power rankings, they had a 6-game winning streak recently, which started the day before our last power rankings, March 15th, with an easy home win over Chicago, and then followed that up with home wins over Dallas. Look, get this lineup, guys. Dallas, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Nashville, Boston. Whoa. This team would have been a lot higher. We probably would have been talking maybe top 3. Heck, I could have made an argument for them to be number 1. But then last night, they lost to the dud and disappointing Chicago Blackhawks at the United Center. They got beat down 6-2. That killed them. If it wasn't for that, we would have been talking top 3, maybe even number 1. But no, that's terrible. Not a good way to start off a crucial 4-game road trip. Their next 3 will be in Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal before they come back home for the final 2 games when they host the Calgary Flames, and then a shot at redemption against those disappointing Chicago Blackhawks. To me, the biggest disappointment in the NHL this year. One of the 2 biggest disappointments, the other being, of course, the Rangers. So that's all I can say there. So first, number 7 for me is the Winnipeg Jets. And my other number 7, like I said, is the New Jersey Devils. 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, lost their last one. 40-28-9, 89 points. 5th in the Metropolitan Division. I believe they currently sit as the number 2 one of the 2 wild card teams in the East right now, led by the dynamic Taylor Hall, who was another young stud. 9th in penalty kill, 11th in power play, 15th in goal scoring, 16th in penalty minutes. And since our last power rankings, the New Jersey Devils, a nice road win in Los Angeles, but then back-to-back road losses at Anaheim and San Jose, a nice road win at Pittsburgh, a couple of nice home wins over Tampa Bay and Carolina before a tough home loss to Pittsburgh last night. They got the Islanders coming in tonight, and then tomorrow they're at Montreal. And then Tuesday, they host the Rangers. Thursday, they host Toronto. And then they end the season next Saturday against the Washington Capitals. So, yeah. So my co-number 7s, without a doubt, the Winnipeg Jets and the New Jersey Devils. Moving on to number 6. Yes, there's another tie, but the good news is this will be my last tie, I promise you. They both come out of the Western Conference. And they are your reigning and defending Western Conference champion, Nashville Predators, and the Los Angeles Kings. Both teams are 6-2-2 in their last 10 games, and both winners of 2 in a row. Nashville Predators, best record in the league right now, 50, 16, and 11, 111 points. As of now, they're on track to win their first ever President's Trophy. They lead the league in goaltending. Pekka Rinne, who is just absolutely out of his mind right now. To me, it's a 2-horse race for that Vezina Trophy between him and Tuukka Rask in Boston. 6th in penalty kill, 7th in goal scoring, 17th in power play. That's not bad, but they're near dead last in penalty minutes. You got to stay out of the box, guys. That's what kills you. Trust me, we know. Since our last power rankings, road wins over Colorado and Buffalo, and then they did lose 3 in a row, a home loss to Toronto, and then back-to-back road losses at Minnesota and Winnipeg. But then they followed that up with home wins over Minnesota and San Jose. They host Buffalo tonight. Should be an easy win there. And then a big 3-game road trip against 3 Eastern Conference contenders at Tampa Bay. That's a big one. Perhaps a Stanley Cup final preview on Monday night. Or I should say on Easter Sunday night. Whoa, that's a big one there. And then Tuesday, they're at Florida. Thursday, they're at Washington. And then they end the regular season at home next Saturday against another red-hot team. Another team that's in my top 3, the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, to me, they're my favorites in the West right now. As much as I want to see Vegas, heck, Vegas or Winnipeg, I'll be honest. I've taken a liking to the Winnipeg Jets as well. I'm rooting for those kids as well. I love that young team as well. And my other number 6, Los Angeles Kings, 43, 28, and 7, 93 points. Third in the Pacific Division behind San Jose and Vegas. 6-2-2 in the last 10. They've won 2 in a row as well, just like Nashville. They lead the league in penalty kill. They're second in goals in goaltending. Jonathan Quick. 11th in power play, 16th in goal scoring, and 22nd in penalty minutes. Since our last power rankings, that bad home loss to New Jersey, a nice road win at Minnesota, tough road loss at Winnipeg, a nice road win at Colorado, beat Colorado down 7-1, a bad road loss at Edmonton, but so far, nice home wins over Calgary and Arizona this week. They're currently tied 1-1 at Anaheim right now. You know how exciting it is when those two get together. Let me see. Monday night, they're at home against, and this is the last road game of the season. The remaining 3 games will all be at home. Colorado comes in on Monday, and then Minnesota comes in Thursday, and then Dallas comes in next Saturday. So that's it. Co-number 6s, and my final tie of the night goes to the Nashville Predators and the Los Angeles Kings. So that's it for me for number 6. So Mehmet, who you got?
Oh my goodness. All right. I feel like the Kings and the Predators deserve to be in top 5. No doubt about it. That's my feeling. So I'm gonna do that way. Now, who is your number 7? I heard there was a tie number 7. Who's your 7?
I had Winnipeg.
Florida.
I had Winnipeg and Jersey.
See, you know what? I'm going to go with that realm. I'm going to go down that realm. So, Winnipeg and New Jersey is my... Or, yeah, my number... Is there a number 7 or number 6? That's it. Actually, that's my number 6. So, I'm going to go there. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Fletch, who did you go with number 6? I couldn't quite hear you.
I went with New Jersey with my number 6.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. So, yeah, I'm going with the New Jersey Devils as my number 6 as well. So, there's nothing more to say. So let's move along to the top 5 now, and Fletch, you get us going with that.
This is where Anthony went with number 6 here. I'm got it at the top 5. They deserve it. The LA Kings, what a run they've had all season long. Nice little rebound for them. They were virtually on a little bit of shaky ground. And the thing is, they're not out of the woods yet. They could still miss the playoffs. That's how tightening this thing is. Because if you look at the way that this thing is broken down, 4 teams are battling for literally the final 4. There's 4 teams right now battling for 4 spots. That is LA, they're at 93 points. Colorado, 92 points. The St. Louis Blues at 91 points. The Anaheim Ducks, 91 points. There is really a logjam right now, with those spots. They could be in wild card. They could be in the Pacific. If Anaheim sneaks up and they catch them, then this game here right now that is happening at this hour, the Kings versus the Ducks, this game is so crucial to both teams. If the Kings win it, they're in. They get it. If they lose, that is a virtual death nail for them, because honestly, with St. Louis there, with Colorado there, with LA and Anaheim, that's 4 spots. Somebody's going to get left behind. And you do not want to be that 4th team right now. So, I don't know. For me, the team that really deserves it, and I'm even going to go as far to say this is top 5 worthiness, and that is the Nashville Predators. Best record in the league. They got the right now they're like 5 clear of the nearest threat. Well, 3 clear of the nearest threat to the President's Trophy, which is Tampa Bay. Oh, by the way, Kevin LaRoche and Bill McConnell, you're no longer first place in the Atlantic Division. You lost that tonight, but still, you still got a couple of games ahead of you. You got a couple of games to go, more than Tampa, so each his own. But Nashville, with the way they've been playing this season, I think they're top 5 worthiness. I'm sorry, they do. They deserve to be top 5. But at the end of the day, they've done what they had to do. My 5, my number Kings and the Kings and the Nashville Predators. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I agree. The LA Kings and the Nashville Predators are tied at number 5 for me. So Florio, who do you have as your number 5?
Well, I'll tell you, my top 5 are all standalones. There are no more ties. My first number 5, I got to go with the San Jose Sharks. 8-1-1 in the last 10 games, but they've lost 2 in a row. That's why I had to put them down at 5. 44, 24, and 10, 98 points. They're 5 points behind Vegas in the Pacific Division. They were playing very well. Second in penalty kill, 6th in penalty minutes, 9th in goals against, 11th in goal scoring, 15th in power play. So let's see what they've done since our last rankings. They were doing very well. They had an 8-game winning streak going into this. With the way they were playing up until Tuesday, this was the team that I initially had as my number 1 at the start of the week. I mean, during that 8-game winning streak, which started on March 12th with a home win over Detroit, they followed that up with 7 other wins. 3 road wins at Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Home wins over New Jersey, Vegas, and Calgary. A road win at Chicago on Monday, but then they lost at St. Louis on Tuesday, and then they lost at Nashville on Thursday. And it doesn't get any easier. They got to go to Vegas tonight. That's a big one right there. Their last road game of the season before they end the season with a 3-game homestand with Dallas coming in on, I believe it's Tuesday. Tuesday, Dallas comes in. Thursday, Colorado comes in. And then next Saturday, they end the regular season at home against Minnesota. So we'll see what happens with that. So my number 5 is the San Jose Sharks, although they were my number 1 team at the start of the week. But those 2 straight losses, yeah, that weigh heavily on me. Against primetime contenders, too. Not quite ready for prime time, that team is. Number 4, now I'm going to be honest with you. At the start of the day, I had this team at number 1. But with the loss tonight, I drop them down to number 4. The Washington Capitals. 46, 25, and 7, 99 points. Leaders of the Metropolitan Division. 8-2 in their last 10 games. They lost tonight. 6th in power play percentage, 9th in goals scoring, 15th in goals against, 17th in penalty kill, 26th in penalty minutes. And since our last power rankings, they had a long winning streak. They completed a home-and-home sweep of the New York Islanders, a home win over the Islanders, but then they got beat down by Philly in Philly on the 18th, 6-3. And they had won 5 in a row. A home win over Dallas, road wins at Detroit, Montreal, and the Rangers, and then beat the Rangers at home. But then tonight, a very bad loss. They lost at home to the Carolina Hurricanes. No, honey, no. And it doesn't get any easier. Their final 4 games are all against legitimate Cup contenders. At Pittsburgh on Easter Sunday, Ovechkin and Crosby get to renew their hated rivalry on Easter Sunday night. NBCSN, by the way. And then they got to go to St. Louis on Monday. Red hot St. Louis was in my top 3. And then they got Nashville coming in on Thursday. And then next Saturday, they end the year at home against New Jersey. Oh, Washington Capitals. Oh. If you want to prove to us that you're ready for prime time, you better do well against those legitimate cup contenders, even Jersey. So that's all I can say on that. Number 4, Washington Capitals. MF, what do you say to that?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the tie at number 4. San Jose and Washington. That is definitely it. There's really nothing more to say about that. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
San Jose and Washington, they're my number 4 as well. So there's nothing more to say. Let's go to the top 3, and Fletch, you kick it off.
All right. My number 3. This is gonna be tough, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, they are number 3 in power rankings for me. They've been having an unbelievable year. I mean, is there not to like about this team right now? They are really putting it all together. Can I just say how Austin Matthews has been? And look, 101 points. They're definitely firmly in the playoff picture. They're going to be in the playoffs. They clinched. They're just having an unbelievable season, to say the very least. Winners of 2 in a row, 8-2 in the last 10. What is there to say about this team? They've just been unbelievable, and they're going to be tough. Boston, you better be ready, boys, because the Maple Leafs have come to play, and if it looks like right now it's Boston versus right now it looks like it's probably going to be the Bruins and the Maple Leafs in the first round. Man, it's original 6. Florio, I'm calling it right now. If this is the series, if Boston and Toronto make it and they face off in the first round, it is ours. I don't give a damn what the other matchups are. This, just shut it down. Shut it down. That's our first round matchup. We love the original 6 wars. Yeah, there's nothing more to say. And plus, our crews only cover the Eastern Conference. We don't do West. We only do the East. So more easier for us to handle. So yeah, first round matchup. If it's Boston and Toronto, sign us up. That's all I'm saying. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, number 3 for you.
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're my number 3 as well. So there's nothing more to say. So Florio, it's yours.
Yep, MF had it. Finally, an agreement here. Toronto Maple Leafs coming in at number 3, 47, 24, and 7, 101 points, 3rd in the Atlantic behind Boston and Tampa. 8-2 in the last 10 games, winners of 2 in a row. Since our last power rankings, easy home win over Montreal, tough road loss at Tampa Bay, and then a nice road win at Nashville, and then a hard-fought home win over Detroit, a bad home loss to Buffalo on Monday. That killed them right there. But they rebounded nicely with a home win over Florida, and then a nice road win at the Islanders tonight in Brooklyn. They got Winnipeg coming in tonight. That's a big one right there. That could be a Stanley Cup final preview. You never know. That's how good both of those teams are. And then Buffalo comes in on Monday, and then they go to New Jersey on Thursday, and then they end the year at home next Saturday against the Montreal Canadiens. Austin Matthews is a dynamo. You're absolutely right, MF. They're 3rd in goal scoring and power play, 4th in penalty minutes. They're 6th in penalty kill and 12th against the goaltending. The goaltending, that's the only thing that needs work. Other than that, they can score. They're great on the power play. They're great on the penalty kill. They're one of the top teams that's staying out of the box. So, and you're absolutely right, MF. If it's Boston and Toronto, that's ours. Without a doubt, that's ours. it could go down as one of the greatest first-round series in Stanley Cup playoff history. You thought that series they had in 2013 was epic? I think this one will be just as much epic, if not more epic. Possibly 7 games between those two. Let me think about that. Yeah, I'll take it, without a doubt. That's why we love the Stanley Cup playoffs 10 times more than the NBA playoffs. So nothing more to say there. Toronto Maple Leafs coming in at number 3. Number 2, St. Louis Blues. 43, 28, and 5. 91 points, 5th in the Central Division. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games as well, but they've won 6 in a row. They're 4th in goals scoring, 7th in penalty minutes, 15th in penalty kill, but what they have to work on is scoring and power play. They're 24th in goal scoring, and they're near last in power play at 28th. Not going to get it done if they make the playoffs. Since our last power rankings, they've won. All they've done is win. They haven't lost since March 15th when they lost at home to Colorado. But since then, get this lineup. They've beaten at home the Rangers, at Chicago, home wins over Boston and Vancouver, road win at Columbus, and then a home win over San Jose. And right now, they're currently tied with the Vegas Golden Knights 3-3, 7:16 to go in regulation. So we might keep an eye on that, time permitting. Tomorrow night they're at Arizona. Monday they got Washington coming in. Wednesday they're at home against Chicago. Well, it's a home and home series actually. Wednesday they're home against Chicago on NBCSN, Wednesday night rivalry. And then next Friday they're at Chicago, and then they end the year next Saturday at Colorado. Tough. I mean, after Arizona, that's tough. Well, no, it's not tough. Washington is tough. Chicago, they'll probably do well against them considering how disappointing Chicago was this year. And then at Colorado. So watch out for this team. This is a dark horse in the West. So playing their best hockey at the right time. So number 2, St. Louis Blues. MF, how about it?
Number 2, now you said St. Louis, right, Anthony? I just want to make sure. Yep. Okay. I got it. Yep. They say it's St. Louis, as I like to call them. They're in a little bit of some trouble. They need to make a comeback. They're down 3-2 right now to the Vegas Golden Knights. That 6-game winning streak could go bye-bye.
MF, they're tied. They tied it. It's 3-3.
Oh, they tied it. All right. I stand corrected then.
7:16 to go.
All right. Okay, I stand corrected. Because I'm using the NHL website, they haven't updated the score yet. I don't know why the hell. Let me see if they updated it now. Okay, they did. All right, I stand corrected. So no, this is an incredible run for them. What they've been doing lately. Like you said, St. Louis is definitely in the mix now. So yeah, St. Louis. That's the team right now they're looking at, and there's really nothing more to say. So, well, right now they're on the outside looking in because one thing that I was talking about with the about the LA Kings and the whole 9 yards, they just lost. The Kings just lost to Anaheim. Anaheim has won 2-1, so Anaheim has just leapfrogged Colorado. And right now, St. Louis is the odd man out. Remember how I was telling you about that four teams fighting for 3 spots? St. Louis, you're on the wrong side of the line. You win this game against the Golden Knights. Then you put Colorado in on the wrong side of the line. We'll see. Whatever the case may be, number 2, St. Louis Blues. Michael Bullock, is yours. Bullock?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah. St. Louis Blues is my number 2 as well. So let's move on to number 1. So Fletch, you lead off.
Columbus Blue Jackets, number 1 in the rankings. 9-1 in the last 10 games, 2 winners of 2 in a row. And what is there to say? What is there to say? Just a remarkable run, a great season. If the playoffs begins today, they got to play the defending world champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's going to be a rough series. Man, what a series that's going to be. But for me personally, I wish them nothing but the best. They've been really good all season long. They've been consistent. And, when you got John Tortorella, the head coach of the team, he's really got his boys geared, and this close to the end, well done, my friend. My number 1, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Bullock, it's yours. Mike?
Oh, Bullock, are you there? No, I think we lost him. So.
No, I'm right here.
Okay.
Columbus Blue Jackets. They're my number 1. So yeah. So now you can take it, Florio.
Columbus Blue Jackets, 44, 29-5, 93 points, 3rd in the Metropolitan Division, and the hottest team in the league, 9-1. In the last 10, they won 2 in a row. They were in the midst of a 10-game winning streak from March 4th through March 22nd, until that streak was snapped last Saturday at home with a tough luck loss to the St. Louis Blues. But during that 10-game winning streak, they had a road win at San Jose, home wins over Vegas, Colorado, Detroit, Montreal, road win at Philadelphia, home win over Ottawa, and then road wins against our teams, guys, in Boston, at Boston, and at Madison Square Garden over the Rangers. Back-to-back nights. Very impressive. And then a home win over Florida on the 22nd, and then the lone loss was St. Louis last Saturday, 2-1. And then an easy road win at Edmonton, an easy road win at Calgary. They complete their 3-game Canadian road trip at Vancouver this afternoon. And then Tuesday, they got Detroit coming in. Thursday, they got Pittsburgh coming in. And then they end the regular season next Saturday at Nashville. After Vancouver and Detroit, you got the 2 teams who battled it out last year, Pittsburgh and Nashville. But MF, like MF said, the pedigree of John Tortorella, who won a Stanley Cup with Tampa Bay in 2004. It was, I believe, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was 2012, where he nearly had the Rangers there, but came up just short. But Columbus has become a much better team since he took over that job. 2nd in penalty minutes, 8th in goaltending, 18th in goal scoring. They got to work on the penalty kill, 24th. They're dead last, though, in power play. That's their only real weakness. So they're number 1 for now, but we'll see how it goes down the road. I mean, if they end up going against Pittsburgh, I got to be honest, I don't think they can beat Pittsburgh. I don't. So that's all I can say there. Number 1, Columbus Blue Jackets. And that will do it for this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So let's get into our quick shout-outs here. MF or Bullock, whoever wants it first, it's yours.
All right, first off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. To the super fans, you guys already know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, you guys know who you guys are. For my friends in the junior high and high school age, you guys you know who you guys are. Normally, I never do this. I never single out any individual, but I feel like it is worthy and a special, momentous, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna do it anyway. The hell with it. I normally I never do, but I'm gonna do something that I never ever hardly do. I'm gonna call somebody out on this one. Even though yesterday, well, technically now that it's about 1 a.m. in the morning and it's March 31st. Yesterday was March 30th, and it was a certain birthday very near down live when it comes to the Dunkin' Donuts Center on so 16th. I stand corrected. Big shout out, happy birthday, Megan Silva. You know we love you. We you know you're awesome. I hope your day was blessed. It looks like you had a great time with family today. I was right when I said the 17th. God damn it! All right, I messed up. My bad. So it is April 17th. I stand corrected. I said the 17th first, and then I double backed myself. I should stuck with my guns. But we love you, Megan. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Hope that your day was awesome as always. Can't wait to see you on the 17th. Who knows? Maybe I might see you sooner than that. I don't know. But so that's it, guys. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, go ahead, take it home. Says I'm out.
All right, of course, we thank you all so very much for tuning in for another great edition of Strictly Sports. And of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans out there who support all of our shows. Of course, to all of our super fans out there, you guys know who you are. To all of our friends from my high school days, you guys know who you are. To all of our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12, all of our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV. Of course, our friends from the Road Show, former co-host Mary Larson, Megan Mooney, and of course the three current people on the Road Show, Will, Brendan, and Michaela. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. So until Monday night, where we officially start off WrestleMania week, we start off with the road to WrestleMania with Ridiculously Raw, where we will recap the go home to WrestleMania 34 additional Monday Night Raw. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this week, boys. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So until then, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now and have a happy Easter, everybody. And we'll see you Monday as we kick off WrestleMania week. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. Special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, special shout outs to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson and the Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Danny Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Lexi Calloway, and of course, the aforementioned birthday girl herself, Megan Silva. I definitely shared in the birthday love as well, no doubt about it. Of course, our other shout outs, our other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons, and of course, the man himself, Derek Ferreira. And our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, and ESPN, NHL Network, MLB Network, NBA TV, NFL Network, FS1, the whole 9 yards. Chantel McKay from the Golf Channel, Lindsay McCormick, Stata Sorrell. Can't forget about them. Our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnston, and former co-host Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And of course, last but not least, my wonderful church family and friends over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Bible study. A little after 10, Sunday service. Of course, our very special Easter Sunday service this Sunday. Very much looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting. It's going to be a blessing as always. And Wednesday night at 7, Bible study. Other things going on. And on April 22nd, mark that date down, April 22nd. That's a Sunday, April 22nd, following service, a very special anniversary luncheon. It'll mark the 27th anniversary of when they put together that whole thing. So that's going to be a very special blessing indeed. So yeah, looking forward to seeing them. I can't think of a better way to start off my Easter Sunday than by being with them, as always. It's gonna be a very beautiful service, I'm sure, like it always is. So yeah. So that's it for that. Like Bullock said, of course, WrestleMania week. Monday night, we got Ridiculously Raw, the go home show for WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw, which I hope will be 10 times better than that garbage show we had this past week. And I do mean garbage. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey, and The Authority are going to have a face off, a face to face off. That's the only thing that I know. We'll see what else happens Monday night at the Phillips Arena in Atlanta. Of course, my thoughts on 205 Live.
Well, of course, let's not forget, Florio.
Yes.
Will The Undertaker respond?
That's a good question. Will The Undertaker show up and answer John Cena's challenge for WrestleMania? We'll find out. A lot of dirt sheets saying that they will be on the Go Home show. We'll see. So, and then, of course, my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. Very high marks for 205 Live. We'll see about Impact. And then Tuesday, we got Cerebral Smack Talk with MF. Go Home show for SmackDown Live before WrestleMania from the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. If there's enough time, we'll have a Mikey's Mindset. Or maybe he'll have a Mikey's Mindset. I don't know. We'll see if he has anything in store. And then I haven't gotten any official word from Derek yet, but hopefully he'll make it official. If I know him, I'm guessing next Thursday night, tentatively, next Thursday, we're going to preview both NXT TakeOver New Orleans and the Showcase of the Immortals WrestleMania 34. Because remember, next Friday night is the Hall of Fame, and then Saturday is TakeOver New Orleans, and then of course Sunday is WrestleMania. So obviously we're probably not going to have Strictly Sports next Friday night, so we can enjoy the Hall of Fame ceremony, and then Saturday of course TakeOver New Orleans, and then Sunday's the big show itself, WrestleMania 34, which MF will have the recap of that immediately following Mania over on Brace Fair 95, our biggest show of the year. You know how excited we are about that. Myself, MF, Michael Bullock, Dee Woodson. So it's going to be a big night. I'm already looking forward to it. So that's it. So until Monday night, as we kick off WrestleMania week here on our family of networks, it's Anthony Floyer here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Dee Woodson and Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. More importantly, have a blessed Easter or Resurrection Sunday. Very special holiday indeed. One of my 3 favorite holidays of the year, and one of the most beautiful ones as well. So, looking forward to that. And that's it. So, until Monday Night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on Tone 25 or YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long.